Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. We are still working on a large expansion to our economy, which remains basically our top priority. I also need a coal mine expansion, so we'll go ahead and do that. Rio Grande do Sul and Santa Catarina are good places for that. Let's max out Santa Catarina. We've also got quite a bit of coal in the north, so Zulia is another good place to max out, and Antioquia as well. We're just going to produce an absolute ton of coal, because that's also going to help with a bunch of automation stuff we're going to end up trying to do later. Livestock ranches can definitely use barbed wire fences at this point. We're doing a big old expansion of the these industries. I think... Let me see. Steam Donkey is one engine and a little bit less coal from coal mines, and then for everyone else, it's 4 coal and 1 engine. So let's see. If we went to Steam Donkey, that would cost quite a bit of coal, actually. Like 1,200. I got a lot of mines, friends. But we're producing a lot of coal, and we're going to be producing more. Got another Hell on Earth event. You know what we're going to do. Launch that inquiry. We're going to develop an Amazonian state. We've got one state that can do it. Nested within the rainforests of Para, the erstwhile sleepy village of Belém has grown into a major hub of rubber extraction and transportation. This event is an outpost of progress. To sleep now. The sun is going down. You and your father will need strength to hunt tomorrow. But I am Senor Ramirez, and I am still ordering his do not speak that name, boy. Never again. Do not bring those men to us, whoever's left. And the rubber barons require more rubber. This makes the landowners stronger. And their business acumen shall see Belém thrive. This is just... Right, we're choosing between migration attraction and rubber plantations throughput. Let's do migration attraction. I don't know if that's the right call, but I hope it is. I like to think that it is. Take another look at our trade routes, just make sure everything's good to go with that. We're still... Our sugar export route to France is not great, so we'll cut that one. We are bringing in a ton of fertilizer from Prussia. Y'all have probably been yelling about me in the comments for this for a while. So, what do I need to do to... I need to build up fertilizer plants. I need to build them up seriously. So, let's do 10 levels in Minas Gerais, 12 levels in Rio de Janeiro, and we'll do 14 levels in Zulia. And that should cover what we've got. But Belgium, would you give me a pile of cash if I... No. Sad. I do love huge piles of cash. I've made a large queue here. I think I'm going to throw the food industries at the bottom. They're suddenly seeming less urgent than getting off of Prussia's dole from a fertilizer perspective. We are in position number 3 from a global prestige perspective, but I really want to increase our armies because I want to solidify that and put us in a position where we can potentially challenge the French for position number 1. An offensive pact with Florida? You know what? Sure. Obligation owed to us by Sikkim will expect... Why do I keep getting obligations from Sikkim in various games? Oh, I wonder if that's like an internal reform event that's been firing for them. Because I know I've had that event as Japan. And we're about to get the Sovereignty at Sea event. We're actually... we're just over 90% in the way. Hey, we're in drafting. Wonderful. 2 more steps. It's okay. We can do it. We can do this. I won't get... Hey, political movement disbanded. Wonderful. That's actually quite good. Can you get out of here? No, not yet. What I need is an agitator who will strengthen my universal suffrage movement. Or for someone who likes voting more than these guys do to get into to get in control of one of these groups. Because right now it's just Jose Marquez de Souza doing all the work here, and I just he can't do everything himself, y'all. Corporatism will get us what? Not a whole lot. Hold on. I do have labor movement right now, so I do have the ability to go to things like graduated taxation and... what's this one? And regulatory bodies. Alright, cool. And I've got human rights as well. Compulsory primary school. So I could go that way. Literacy is going up in the country. Chile, how much longer till I can reduce your autonomy? Another 6 months. Ooh, Scottish mass migration. Britain, did you turn into an ethno-state or something? No, you're in cultural exclusion. Why are the Scots coming from Britain to Brazil? Because the standard of living's higher. We got huge standard of living, friends. The standard of living here is bananas. We're living so standardly. The standards, they're high. So, can we export some rubber? Not really. How much rubber are we exporting already, though? That's the real question. None. And trade policy is focusing on exports. This might be a mistake. I'm being really blasé. Ooh, the Agrarian Party. New election. Oh, excellent. The rural folk have their own party. Well, that's fun. We got a new heir apparent. He aligns with the intelligentsia. So that was actually very good, because the heir apparent that we had before aligned with the landowners, and I do not like it when the emperor aligns with the landowners, I must say, particularly in 1906. That's just a real recipe for goofing up the country. Bishop takes black pawn. I don't know how to feel about this. At a soiree for the Conservative Party's wealthiest supporters, Gaspar Saldanha da Gama began a long-winded rant about the merits of slavery and discrimination. As you can plainly see, the development of the skull is directly tied to the civility of the man. One can assuredly determine his fitness for good society by the proper measurement of his circumference. And how do you intend to prove that a man does his thinking with his bones? As I said, you can determine a man's fitness for good society by properly measuring his skull. Sorry, I just like the idea of a crusty old sailor being like, "You're coming around here with your racism. Get out of here with that." People entitled to their opinions, even if they're wrong. Civilization is the means of our equality. So, this will give me 10% momentum to the Conservative Party. This will give me 30% momentum, but 5% of Afro-Caribbean pops will become radical. Less momentum to the Conservatives is good, so I'm going to go with the first one. A religious revolt in Sierra Leone. That's... oh. I mistook the image for something, for a flag that I very much care for from a very different type of game. Loyalists are going down, but that's just because we're trying to get voting to happen, and the census suffrage movement is generating heckin' radicals like you wouldn't believe. But once we get that dealt with, we'll be back in... we're still in very good stead overall with our radicals versus loyalists. Partial sign a peace agreement with Tripolitania. Wow. Wow. You get him, Prussia. Sort of surprised France hasn't figured out how to conquer Mascara yet. What if I conquered Mascara? What if I turned Mascara into a protectorate? Letters to the Condemned, a stall event. Following the arrest of prominent opponent to universal suffrage, Gaspar Saldanha da Gama has begun a public letter-writing campaign to demonstrate support for... oh, no, he's not the one in jail. I hope that you have been well. We pray for your swift release. This injustice is one that has been mercilessly exposed. All of these more shuffled inside the mailbag as the courier neared his destination. The letters must flow freely. Extra support reduced radicalism for the movement to preserve census suffrage. and then intelligentsia big mad. That's not, well, more support means higher stall chance, so I'm not happy about that, but we still have a 25% success chance. So I'm not I'm still trying with this. We got pump jacks spreading to us, which is fine. We're about to finish pump jacks right now. And then we'll be grabbing shift work, and then, well, what if we go directly to electrical capacitors? It'll only be 3 years. I think we can get there. I think we can get there. So pump jacks will unlock oil wells, which will be really good. We've got a transport shortage in Cajamarca. So let's go ahead and build some railroads there. If I can find Cajamarca, my South American geography is still really, really weak. Hold on, am I doing this wrong? Cajamarca. Here. Interesting. I wonder if it's actually a labor shortage issue. Nope, they're good on labor. They just don't have the railways. Well, we'll build up more railways then. We're building a lot of coal, so that should be just fine. And this will be pump jacks popping off. So that's going to give us the ability to exploit our oil fields in Venezuela. And that is going to be really, really productive for our economy. We do have another... Let's see. Para, we're in level 3 urban centers. How much urbanization do we have total? 285. So I think maybe... You see, these iron mines are not employing anybody, so they're not of any help to anyone. I think actually it's just kind of a labor thing. Like, there's not a lot of labor available here in Para. Although the banana plantations are pretty productive, despite the fact that we despite the fact that fruit is dirt cheap. It's the glassworks that are doing really well, so we'll build a few more of those. Amazonas is at 2. So we should... Let me see. Level 2 and 10 levels of rubber plantations. Amazonas, we should have... That's weird. We'll figure that out. Maybe there's like a cooldown or something. Votes are doing better. We got a legitimate government with the rural folk having an actual party, and that has really helped this situation. In fact, we are at north of 50%. Oh, because the industrialists left the anti-census suffrage movement. Because they've got... I don't really know why, but, you know, I'm pleased about it. Hopefully that will be permanent, and in the meantime, they'll be very happy and stay out of it, and then we can actually get census suffrage passed. Maybe we'll get a success. Oh, this is wonderful. This is great. Chile. Reduce autonomy. Chile accepts the demands. A truce with Argentina is lasting another 29 months. Rabble-rousing, a stall event. A few pointed comments from Gaspar Saldanha da Gama have left Quintino Bocayuva scrambling for a simple price, a loaf of bread. The debates on universal suffrage have since stalled. A portion of milled wheat determines a meal. 3 of those a day, 7 days a week is the crux of a wage. Give a worker their bread and their roof plus 10% and it's a year's living. And yet some will tell them to eat cake, unaware that cake is made from wheat. The reputation takes time to heal. Weaker petit bourgeois. We keep the issue focused on the law. He's the leader of the petit bourgeois. You know, I'm going to say a reputation takes time to heal. Wait, am I giving the other guy, this guy, popularity? I am. That's what's going on. That's curious. That's quite curious. So this is still causing a pretty large amount of radicalization, this preserved sense of suffrage movement. But I'm hoping we can continue to go where we've been going. Relations are still good with... Well, relations are getting better with France. I guess the Paris Commune just kind of flared out. I thought the Paris Commune was going to be a big deal, but... Because usually it's a big deal. Usually the Paris Commune sets Europe on fire with fear of communism and other whatnots. But this time they just kind of flared out and stopped existing. Which, you know, I don't really mind, but it is a little unfortunate. So, building up a lot of coal mines, I think... Oh, I already increased the size of the army. That's what happened. I'm like, wasn't I going to increase the size of the armed forces? And the answer is yes. In fact, I already did. Cool. So that should solidly put us in third place. Yeah, here we go. And we're above the United States at this point, so I'm feeling very pleased about that. So, what does this mean? We're 196 battalions. So, in terms of armed forces, we're at 9th, with all the major European powers still over us. How does that compare to our population? Population, we're also in 9th. But GDP, we're getting larger and larger. So I think our... It's interesting. Yeah, I'm beginning to see why bringing in higher population is of critical importance. I've got 94 authority left. Ooh, Rebel Rush. Excellent. I've got 94 authority kicking around. And I've got plenty of influence to play with. If I stopped increasing relations with the Netherlands... Ooh, I could develop an Amazonian state. Manaus, heart of the Amazon. Fueled by profits from the developing rubber industry, the city of Manaus in Amazonas has emerged as a major commercial center, sporting facilities and amenities yet unheard of in the rainforest. Sap makes Manaus' world go round. The burgeoning rubber trade, bled from the very trees of the Amazon rainforest, have given Manaus a stable economic crutch. While coffee and milk are the center of other parts of Brazil, the utility of rubber has allowed other industries to flourish. Cobblers, toolmakers, and hospitals alike are performing new miracles with this sticky new substance. It shall be the cornerstone of our rubber empire, 20% throughput, prestige, one standard of living for the upper strata, and a tropical metropolis sans pareil, 100% migration attraction, one standard of living for the middle strata. Let's go with... I love that 5 prestige, but, let's go with a tropical metropolis sans pareil. An exile at the gates. The relatively lenient Brazilian immigration system has long been attractive to those fleeing their home nations. Recently, Andrew Hume Campbell has petitioned to join the stream of people moving into Brazil. It was one name on a very, very long list, one that had passed through multiple layers of bureaucracy before being noticed. One faithful day, however, one clerk, at the end of his shift, pointed at the name and spoke those fatal words. I can swear I've heard of him before. Eventually he'll be Brazilian, he'll come to Brazil, or we will not have someone like this regardless of precedent. He is an intelligentsia reformer. Sure. Welcome to Brazil. Come on, universal suffrage. Debate. Thinning the opposition. In a display of disunity against opponents of the government, Gaspar Saldanha da Gama has openly published the names of certain rival opposition figures in one of his pamphlets. The reveal of these identities gives the police a welcome opportunity. Without a strong organization skilled in waging political struggle under all circumstances and at all times, there can be no question of that systematic plan of action illuminated by firm principles and steadfastly carried out, which alone is worthy of the name of tactics. How convenient. Extra 10% enactment chance. Increased radicalism for the counter-movement, but weaker support. That's very good. And Gaspar Solana da Gama gets opposition thinned. Or will not indulge in infantile plotting, reduce enactment chance. I'm going with the first one. Kabamzo. So that's going to make the preservation movement more radical, but also weaker. And that means our advance chance is higher. So this is good. And we got 10% enactment chance, which is also nice. We are shoving a bunch of popularity in Saldanha da Gama's mouth, but, you know, he's wasting all of it trying to make technocracy happen. And nobody cares about technocracy. So I'm still feeling pretty confident about our ability to pass universal suffrage. Ooh, Brasilidad. Excellent. Oh. That's gone. That's a shame. So our prestige is going to potentially move down. A Portuguese proletarian revolt. Interesting. I would love to get Portugal as a subject. They would be accepted peoples in my country. So let's see. Well, Great Britain sides, and now they don't care anymore. Alright, that's fine. That's fine, that's fine. We're fine. Alright, now this guy's here trying to enact compulsory primary school, which we will do. Andrew Hume Campbell. We will do eventually. Here's Albanian mass migration. Weird that we can do private schools and compulsory. No, it's not that weird. That actually, that meshes. That makes sense. We're actually about to hit standard of living 13, which is pretty good. Who's above us? Mostly small states. Sweden's really getting there. Sweden and Norway both. Switzerland has castle. Yeah, we're not close to the top yet with that. The United States is fighting against communist Senegal. Would you give me huge piles of cash in order to support you against the communists of Senegal, America? You know you want to. No. Sad panda. I'm drunk with power with this trading military support for bankroll thing. Just absolutely dumb and stupid. Very close to electrical capacitors. We got shift work spreading to us as well. So I think next we'll go to society, maybe? Maybe. No, you know what? Next we're going to go to telephone and then radio. Oop. Trade agreement with Italy? Absolutely. And then radio, and then we'll be able to get everything we need. Then defense and depth will get us all of the tasty. On the other hand, if I went to bolt action, I could get machine guns, and that would be really useful for improving my military. I'm actually going to do that. We finished out level 3 for military. We do have the ability to produce torpedo boats at this time. So, torpedo boats are 40 offense, 30 defense, 25% convoy rating efficiency. Monitors are... they're flatly better, torpedo boats, than monitors. They provide a bonus to convoy rating instead of convoy defense, but they're double the attack with no reduction in defense. So I think we're definitely going to build just a bunch of those. Santa Catarina is low in infrastructure. Let's just round out some uneven numbers we got over here. Is this a rational plan for military development? No, it is not. Am I doing it this way? Absolutely. So how many torpedo boats is that? It's 20. Cool. Radical Costa Rica. Well, are you radical enough to want to become my puppet state? What about original Costa Rica? Original flavor. Will you become my puppet state? I'm just cruising for puppet states now. Hey, law progress to voting. Wonderful. Alright, 34%, 21% advance chance. Come on, let's get us some universal suffrage. This is going to be the best. If we can make this happen, this is going to be the best. The industrialists are going to be big mad if we try to go for compulsory primary school, so we'll give them some time to learn to tolerate that before we go that way. But it's definitely something we're going to work on. Let's do the naval bases first. Let's do them from down here. And Mexico sides with Costa Rica, which is just fine. That's not really concerning us anyway. Britain's got, once again, in one of its cycles of cascading revolutions in its puppet states, but, you know, we've gotten first-hand experience with that, so we know how difficult it is to get anything done from a foreign policy perspective when you're in that situation. But, you know, best of luck to you, Britain. I hope you have everything you want to have. Except for war with me, which seems like something you want more and more these days. But I'm trying my best to not let that happen. By getting huge piles of cash from them. Gold reserves are doing solid. We're actually below our reserve amount, but our reserve amount just keeps going up because our economy is getting larger and larger. We're still not quite at the point where we're over the British Raj, but we're getting there. Population continues. Oh, right. I can't hit this button. Because there's no atheist countries in Europe. That's probably why. Alright. Atheism has stopped kind of growing in a lot of areas, but it's still pretty solid. Interesting. There's a huge Protestant. Oh, here we go, here we go. We got a bunch of Scottish people moving to... Oh, I see. The Scottish people are moving to the north. That's pretty rad. Excellent. Partial sides with Great Britain against a Hyderabadi peasant revolt. Well, that'll do it. Okay, so we're now building up a huge pile of fertilizer plants. So this is going to basically slowly, I hope, slowly eat into our trade route with Prussia. If it doesn't, then what we'll do... Oh, wow, we're exporting a ton of tools. I should increase the tooling industry. We've got the rubber to make it happen. Where do we got radicals? Let's look at that again. Honestly, it feels like we haven't really done that much. Let's build up Ica, Lima, Pastaza, and Ecuador. With 10 levels of tooling refineries, tooling workshops each. It's going to draw people to those areas, and that'll be just fine. Maybe we'll put some levels in Amazonas as well. Maybe this is too many tooling workshops. Maybe it isn't. We'll find out if I am making a terrible mistake later, when it turns out I've made a terrible mistake. Let's build up some ports. Antioquia... Zulia's still got heckin' labor. We'll just max out Zulia for ports. Rio de Janeiro will do the same. Sao Paulo, we can get a couple of levels. And there's oil in Antioquia, so that's excellent. We can definitely exploit that. And in fact, I'm going to throw that in at the top of the track here. So those are going to pop at the same time the new fertilizer plants in Minas Gerais pop. Come on, give me universal suffrage. Stall event. Opposition in print. A narrowly disguised polemic against universal suffrage written by Gaspar Saldanha da Gama has appeared in a popular opposition newspaper published across Brazil. You ought to see the morning paper, sir. It's, yes? Well, there's a Saldana de Gama article in it, on the 3rd page. The functionary reached up and put a hand on his temple, and with that he knew that it was about to read something that may take years off his life. He is a scourge as always, minus 10% enactment chance, or encourage our supporters to publish opposing articles, 15% increased enactment time, plus 5% enactment chance. You know I'm going with the second one. Increased enactment time does not bother me, but getting increased enactment chance will always get you there eventually. We are very close to a full hegemony over South America, friends. I think, let me see, October 12th, we're going to go to the end of the year just to see if we get our universal suffrage at that point. And after that, I'm going to figure out what I want to do next, because there are a lot of options available to me. Burma sides with Dai Nam, but against whom? Against a Cambodian peasant revolt. Could get a subject over there, but I don't necessarily want one. We've fallen back into 5. We don't have Brasilidad anymore from the intelligentsia, but hopefully we'll be able to make them happier. They are... Yeah, I allowed dissident letters, so they're unhappy about that, but otherwise they're mostly happy. We got Circassian people showing up in Brazil, so that's excellent. A good vintage. The wine produced in La Paz has been lauded by sommeliers as outstanding. When people say this thing ages like wine, they don't always make the distinction between wine and wine. So let me make that distinction. If you can get your hands on a bottle from La Paz, that bottle can be more than just a good time. It can be an investment. Make it an exclusive product for export or increase production to meet the booming demands. I'm going to go with the extra prestige, because we're up in the rankings and we're trying to do our best to make sure we stay near the top. And there's corporatism. So this actually reduces radicals from standard of living in accepted cultures. And with the current bonuses that I have for that, that's actually really, really significant. Because right now, I'm getting a 5% reduction, 25% reduction from law enforcement, and another 25% reduction from home affairs. So minus 10% is actually minus 20% of what remains, and that's huge. So hopefully, standard of living is going to stop is going to pretty much stop increasing radicals. Unfortunately, unfulfilled movement demands over here is going to increase radicals, and that's something I wish I could deal with, but alas, I cannot. Alright, how much is this being impacted by the fertilizer plants we're building? So it's interesting. I'm kind of thinking about just biting the bullet and letting our fertilizer plants cover the difference. Because right now, many of them are not super productive. Like, the temptation is extremely high to simply do that. We are using the maximum amount of fertilizer. What's our total productive capacity at this stage? Maximum is 140. Great Britain expelled our diplomats. Great Britain, why would you do this? Florida wants help against communist Florida. I accept. I am their ally after all. We'll send the 4th Brazilian army to deal with it. Too many fronts over there. Armada Nacional needs a new leader. Now let's go with this guy. He's a charismatic dockyard organizer. Ooh, no, let's go with this guy. He's a reformer and a naval commander and an alcoholic. There's a reason this channel has Degen in the name. I don't know what you're doing, what you're off doing, but you're getting a promotion. I don't want to send all of our armies over there. Just one. Just one should be fine. So Great Britain has expelled our diplomats. That has reduced relations to cordial, but they're still essentially not able to reduce relations until they're done bankrolling us, which I don't know how long that's going to go for, but I know it's going to continue to go. Anyway, I was looking at fertilizer. So we have 21 fertilizer plants right now, and we're going up to 50. They can produce 140 each, so 50 is like, it's like 7,000. And currently we're Is that right? Am I doing that math right? Hold on. We're doing DeGenCat math hours here. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not completely messing this up. 140 times 50. Yeah, that's 7,000. 7,000 fertilizer production capacity is really significant. In fact, truthfully, we don't need all those, so I'm going to cut the ones in Zulia. And once this round gets built, I'm going to go ahead and cancel that incoming trade route, because truth be told, this should be a perfectly reasonable amount to produce the amount of fertilizer that we need. In fact, 22, I think it might be enough to produce what we need already. Well, hold on. Are a lot of these places having a hard time buying the necessary fertilizer they need? Because they are, that's a real issue. Oh, interesting. Rice farms use 40 fertilizer per level, but maize farms only use 15. That's interesting. Good point, actually. While debates continue over the universal suffrage law, a polemic by Gaspar Saldanha da Gama has publicized a simple and catastrophic flaw in the proceedings. A redraft is underway. Really? The law requires that nobody flies a kite in public space if it so bothered another person at all? No wonder it was dragged down. Sounds bloody pitiful when you say it like that. Find an acceptable compromise... Oh god, please don't crash. Find an acceptable compromise, whatever it looks like, or let